WordPress website security, and particularly we want to talk about a tool called WordFence. Okay, why do you need this? And hopefully I'll explain this just by some examples. I'm going to take you and give you some stats on what's happening on one website and why you need this. But bottom line is WordFence is a plugin that is designed for security. Fence, get it, for WordPress websites to keep bad things out. And so that is in the form of adding a layer of protection for logins, for password recoveries, for things that that attempts that they regularly see people trying to do, repeated attempts to try multiple passwords for a username, to guess a username, for too much traffic to try to take down a site. You've seen that where a site, you've heard of those, where a site can go down because of too much traffic, but if you spam it with traffic, you can also get a site to come down. Why? That's a whole nother question. Would somebody want to take your website down? But there's also the attempts to basically to breach it, either through manual. So they pay people, particularly in kind of low-income nations. So we're talking about some places in Asia and Africa where there are kind of businesses set up, farms, even in India, to get people to try to do this on a manual basis. They're just trying, and they can do that because we can detect kind of bots in a certain way. An automated attack, it's tougher to detect a human, but basically the bottom line is they're trying to breach your site. And why they want to breach your site? Well, again, if it's e-commerce, they can get access to things, try to intercept credit cards, that type of piece. They can change the credit card processor so it goes to their account. Maybe you're not e-commerce, it can still impact you. Number two, they just try to take your site down. Number three, they try to take control of your site so they can use it for their purposes. So maybe the site is still there, but they can use it to also send out spam, to put on their software, to steal user information, or to launch these attacks on other sites. So that they're trying to do this to keep ahead of the game. So there's multiple things, but there's all kinds of pieces happening. WordFence, free plugin, and there's a paid version. The free version is very good, really takes care of a lot of things, and it's just critically important that you get this set up on your site. Now, we offer this as part of our monthly security review service. So what we do is we use that tool, and then it's got a lot of settings within it. So we configure those things and watch what's happening, so we can tighten some things down if there's problems, that type of piece there. So it's one of the tools that we use in our tool set in our monthly security review service. So we'll take a look at a site. You got to make sure the WordPress version is up to date. You got to make sure the plugins are getting up to date so that they're getting security releases. And then you have to have a tool like WordFence. You have to see what's happening with it and keep fine tune the firewall and fine tune what's happening. Okay, so let's get to the statistics here. This is the past 24 hours on my site. Okay, so there were we blocked an IP address from Pakistan that had 78 attempts to try to guess a login. There was another IP address in Pakistan that had 67. We had India with 14, Pakistan again, Sweden, Sri Lanka, Swaziland, Indonesia, United States, Islamic Republic of Iran, Russia. Okay, all of these things had attacks in the past 24 hours. We can take a look at 24 hours, 7-day, 30-day type window. But if you were just adding up some of those numbers, there was, wow, that's okay. So in the 7-day time period, if I go into that, I mean, we're looking at over 500 attempts. And then we had over 250 roughly, let's say, it's getting closer to that, 300 attacks trying to break into my site with a login. Okay, so there was brute force, which means the attempt to break in by brute force. There was 119 attempts today. That's it. Okay, these things are running out there, these automated machines plus these farms of people working a low wage to try to attack sites. They're trying to gain control of it, to gain access, to get user information again, and to do these types of pieces there, so we can fine tune the settings within that. So, like number one, if they attempt to log in using a username that does not exist in the system, well, what does that tell us? That tells us they're trying to scam it, right? So boom, we can block them immediately. We can set that up. But however, some of them try to game the system because, and they're going to go for, don't use admin as a username, right? Because that's a common one. They try to guess those, but they try to guess, they'll go to your staff page, look at your people, and try to put those names in, Mike Gingrich, right? So they'll try to use that as a username. And so that might be legitimate. I do have the username on some WordPress websites. So then you have to kind of, determine, okay, so they're trying to attack that. You can set things up like if more than two failed password attempts, then block them, right? Because why would I do more than two, right? I might forget my password once. I'm going to send it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to reset it. Two, maybe three, no, not going to happen. Okay, so you can set those pieces up. So there's rules like that you can do, and then it can tell you, lock them out permanently, lock them out for 2 hours, all those kind of things. It can tell you, and it monitors the site again if there's that kind of like bot traffic where they're trying to ping the site to take it down. You can rate those. If it's over X attempts per minute, then block them, throttle them, for how long, all those kinds of pieces. That's what WordFence does. So hopefully you've seen just from what I've showed you there of the needs there. It's just unbelievable the amount of attacks that are going on to try to breach a site. If you don't have anything on your WordPress site, this is just hitting your site continually. And again, they're trying to go after those ones that don't have anything on there, because they're thinking, hey, if we can get 10,000 attempts, maybe we're going to guess it, right? I mean, they're running these automated systems like that. And so you want to protect your site. So WordFence is a post that I talk about today on digitalhill.com/blog. You can go in there and take a look at that, about WordPress website security that is critically needed. I definitely recommend it, and the free version at least to get you started. It's part of our tool set. It does take, and that's where we come in with our monthly security review. It does take some time to configure. It's got a lot of settings. You have to know what those things mean, all those types of pieces that we go in there and do those pieces so that we're using that tool in our toolbox to help protect the sites that have that security review service with us. Just a important tool today, not just for e-commerce sites, but for all WordPress sites. You need to have some type of security going on there, because let me tell you, the attacks are real. There's no reason they should try to break into your site, my site, if particularly when I'm using e-commerce, but they do, because there is a reason they're trying to get access. It's just like harnessing power to launch more of their schemes, to keep replicating these things, to keep spamming, to try to gain information, to get usernames, get passwords, all those kind of things where they could use it somewhere else. If somebody's using the same password on another site that's more valuable, their banking, whatever, they're trying to do those type of things. It is real. The threat is real. It is constant. You need some security. WordFence does that. Highly recommend it to you. Okay, that's what I wanted to cover today. Go over to digitalhill.com/blog. Click on that. You'll see the WordFence. Dive into that. If you have questions,